It seems St. George is fast becoming a destination for airline travel. Despite losses in 2020 due to COVID, the St. George Regional Airport booked a record number of passengers in May of 2021, with over 35,000 using the services here.
That was more passengers than we've ever had in 1 month, and so we're really seeing a pretty incredible recovery from what we were seeing in 2020 during COVID.
A new master plan survey is allowing travelers the chance to weigh in on what they'd like to see at the regional airport. It will all be a part of a first ever 20-year master plan for the future.
This is the first actual master plan for the airport. So what we do is we look at the next 20 to 30 years and look at the development around the airport and inside the airport, how we're going to grow the airport, and that's really what they're doing.
The city hired McFarland Johnson consulting firm about 9 months ago to help develop the plan. During a town hall meeting, Rick Lucas explained why the forecast looks even brighter.
We would expand the existing terminal. Right now the focus area is the checkpoint and getting more passenger hold room. Right now if you have that morning push when all the flights leave at the same time, it can get pretty crowded in there. So having more secure hold room, and we've actually done a passenger survey as part of this master plan. We have over 500 responses so far, and the number one thing people want to see out there is food. There's no food in the terminal, there's no food for the museum, there's no food for the FBO, so we think there's really a restaurant opportunity there that will likely be a key part of any terminal expansion.
With a brand new runway built back in July of 2019, the terminal is the next focus, with room to double.
And so one of the things that we'll do is we'll expand the terminal ramp as far as where the airplanes park, and we'll probably double that. And then probably in a couple of years, we'll be looking at expanding the actual terminal building and expanding that to hopefully get at least maybe 3, possibly even up to 4 additional gates so that we can load.
Funding for the project, which could come in phases, will be from mostly federal monies as well as fees on tickets that are purchased.
We collect what's called passenger facility charges. So every passenger that goes to our airport, we get $4.50. That money is then can be used to pay for our portion that the FAA does not pay for.
The city-owned airport property encompasses 1,205 acres on the southern border of Utah and Arizona. The new master plan will also look at expansion of airport parking. Staymeyer said the airport is always looking for new airlines and new routes. Currently, there are 3 airlines operating at the airport. Many of those airlines have increased the size of their planes they are flying in here.
Well, the airlines, Delta, United, and American, all bumped the size of the airplanes up. The only one that didn't right now for us is United, but American went from a CRJ 200 to a 700, which is a bigger airplane, 15 additional seats over what they had before.
And while Allegiant came in briefly prior to COVID, the airline found it wasn't cost effective to operate at the time and pulled out. The direct flight to Dallas-Fort Worth was the last flight added by American and is becoming ever more popular. However, he said since COVID, currently there are more passengers flying for vacation travel than for business.
What we're seeing is that probably 80%, maybe 85% are that customer, and then maybe 10, 15% are businessmen, and that's just a very small group. That used to be different last time.
Staymeyer said due to the increase in fuel prices, costs for airline tickets are also starting to creep back up.
So yeah, you'll see an increase in prices over what we've seen in the last year and a half, 2 years.
The planning firm hopes to have the process of the master plan completed by the end of the year so they can begin moving forward on designs and restructuring in the next couple of years.
Our next step is the development alternatives, which is how do we meet the future needs? So looking at how do we expand the terminal, how do we ensure compatible land use, how do we make sure that the surrounding area can meet the demand, and then we'll be able to develop a cost associated with that.
In the meantime, this fall is predicted to set even more records for air travel here this year.
We believe that the fall will be even busier when you have the senior games, the Ironman, and the marathon all in town in September, October. We could see even higher levels of activity.
From the St. George Regional Airport, Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.